Hey everyone, it's Hannah and it's time for another Craftea Chat podcast. Yay! Welcome to the podcast. I hope you have your tea ready. I've just made mine so it's too hot and I do this every time. And every time I say I'm not going to do it next time, and I do it again. Let me get my notes up. My notes are here. Hello everyone. Like I said, my name is Hannah. Welcome to the Craftea Chat podcast. I have all said all that bit. But anyway, thank you so much if you're a returning viewer coming back to spend a little bit out of your busy life to listen to me waffle on about what I've been up to and talk about knitting and crochet and whatever else craftiness I've been up to, but predominantly it has been knitting and crochet. Been on a big knitting and crochet kick. Sorry if the glasses annoy you with the glare. I've had a headache for 2 days, so I thought, wear the glasses. So, as I've said 3 times now, my name is Hannah. You can find me pretty much everywhere on social media as The Corner of Craft. I've got my little banner here showing you where you can find me on various social media sites. I'm everywhere, almost, pretty much. I use some more than others. Instagram is my number one. I've been off Twitter for 2 weeks, for a week and a half, purely because my boyfriend and I play Dungeons and Dragons. We like to watch these people play Dungeons and Dragons on a show called Critical Role, and we can't watch it live because it's in the US and it means it's on at 4 in the morning here, and something massive happened and I don't want to know the follow-up, and I've seen so many spoilers on Twitter. I've just kind of been off Twitter and it's really sad. But anyway, that's not why you've clicked on this video, is it? No. Today is the 9th of February. I usually forget that, and this is episode 7 of the Craftea Chat podcast, although I've been crafty chatting for a lot longer than that. Yes. I'm just gonna have a sip of water, seeing as I can't have any tea. Like how I'm angry at my tea for being too hot when it's my fault for making it too late. Anyway, I'm coming at you today from Frankfurt in Germany, although I do hail from the south of England, as you may be able to tell by my accent. I'm not a German with a very convincing accent. I am just British. I don't know if I've got all my projects in. I do. Look at me being organised. Okay. I think that's everything I have to say. Oh, Ravelry group. We have a Ravelry group. It's the Craftea Chat podcast Ravelry group. I'm trying really hard to be more active in that Ravelry group. I don't know why I'm not. I'm active in other people's podcast groups, so why aren't I active in my own? But yeah, the link to the Ravelry group is in the description box below, and that is where all the notes from today's podcast will be, so the patterns and the yarns and needle sizes and all sorts of details that you might want to know. Yes? Good. Okay, so we're going to get started with whips and hoes, which is works in progress, and half objects, and I don't have any half objects this week. Sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I've been super good. I say this week, I mean this fortnight. It's a fortnightly podcast. But the first thing that I'm sure you're all sick of seeing as being a work in progress, and I definitely am, and I didn't even move my progress keeper from last time. But I don't think I've touched it. It's the Mantilla. I haven't touched it. I actually haven't touched it in 2 weeks. Mantilla doily. And this is a Coats Design. Let me see. Coats Design Team. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And it's super pretty. But it's taking over. It's not taking over my life because I haven't touched it. So I think I'm not going to bring it out in a podcast again until I've done some work on it, / hopefully finished it, because it's getting a bit ridiculous. But it's so pretty and I can't wait to have it finished. But at the same time, I don't want to put any work on it, so, you know, it's one of those. It's one of those projects right now. I'm just going to keep it stuffed inside of my crochet thing. So my next work in progress is a new cast on. How exciting. So last podcast, I showed you my finished All About That Brioche shawl. And I said I was ready to cast on a new shawl, and I cast on, after saying for weeks that I want to cast on, I have actually done it. Ta-da! It's the Bechlein shawl. I cast this on Sunday, I think. Today is Thursday. Yeah, it's the Bechlein shawl. This is a pattern by Becky Sorensen, aka Soprano Knits on Instagram and Ravelry, and host of the Stringing It Together podcast. She's having a Euro stash cal, which is where you use European indie dyed yarn. All of the rules are on her Ravelry group, and she's my neighbour, so I've seen one of the prizes. So now I'm extra excited to be participating. So yeah, European independent indie dyed yarn, and because she's recently moved to Europe from the States and said that that shipping from the States is super expensive, which it is, so would like to know more indie dyes in Europe. So I am using yarn by Truly Hooked, and this podcast is going to essentially look like it's sponsored by Truly Hooked, just by the amount of yarn that I have by her that I'm using. But I promise it isn't sponsored, I just really like her yarns. So this is the band from the yarn. So this colourful one that we got going on here, which is like teals and, let's show you the front, teals and purples and nice pinks and a bit of grey thrown in. Obviously not that stripe, but this one. That's this ball here. I had a caking party at Becky's house the other day and caked up 4 skeins of yarn, and literally that night my arm ached and I was just like, I need to do more exercise. And that is the Yak sock base. If you focus, there we go. Yak sock base, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 10% yak, and it's super soft and it's in the colour Engaging. 400 meters per 100 grams. And it's really soft, like ridiculously soft because of the yak. And apparently it's super warm as well, which is why I wanted it by my face, which is why I picked it to be my colour A. And it's technically a 4-colour shawl, but I'm doing it out of 3 colours, just because I don't have a massive stash, although it's very rapidly growing. But yeah. And the other 2 yarns I'm using are these 2, and they're also by Truly Hooked. So these are both on her standard sock base. And this is a British dyer, I forgot to say that. So this one here is silver grey and this one is charcoal. And yeah, oh, I suppose I should switch them around like this, and like this. It's like a little snowman. We've got A, B and D and C. Her standard sock is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Also really soft. I'm going to have some left over of this, so I can't remember how much the pattern uses. I can't remember if I'm going to have 50 grams left. If I do, I can make a full pair of socks, but with contrasting heel cuffs and toes. But we shall see. If not, I'll do some kind of stripy, jobby business. I could even attempt colour work. I've not done that before, and that is something I wanted to attempt in 2017. But yeah, I'm using 3.5mm higher sharp interchangeable needles, which is a US 4 apparently, and I'm using it on the super long cable because it's gonna get big. So I did my first I-cord cast on. And I'm doing my first I-cord edging. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping it loose. I'm a tight knitter. It's just what I am. So I'm not doing a very good job of keeping it loose, but it should block out okay. And if not, then it will just wrap around and be shaped to my neck, which is fine. But I'm really excited to have this shawl. It's a really good pattern. I'm like a intermediate, beginner intermediate, or I'm just a not very confident intermediate. So I'm finding this nice because I'm learning lots of new techniques. I'm learning how, because I've never done a crescent shaped shawl before. I think it's crescent shaped. It's like a, I've only ever done triangular ones where you start small at one end and then get big. So So I'm really excited to see how this goes. I like it. And that's the Bächlein shawl, which means a small brook in German. Next I have, oh, I'm going to take a sip of tea. I'm coming down with a cold and it's not a good time. Oh, I'm not enjoying having a cold. I literally woke up this morning and just felt like rubbish, and then upstairs are doing building work, so sorry if you can hear that at any point. I'll probably have to stop if they do make a noise. Anyway, I've been working on my Cozy Memories blanket whilst I was waiting for the 1st of February to hit, because that's when the Eurostash Cal started. I worked on my Cozy Memories blanket. And so this little unicorn here that I made, I need to put them in my Etsy shop. I know I said I'd do it last time and then I just haven't. And I have no excuse except for the lighting hasn't been good, except for today when the sun is out. So I finished off this square, added these 3. And these are all minis that people have sent me, which is very nice and generous of them. As part of the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted, I requested mini skeins, and I might have to put out another plea for mini skeins at some point, and get my act together and do it like a mini skein swap or something, because I'm running out, which is really sad, which I think is why I haven't picked up in a few days. But yeah, I've started my 3rd row, which is exciting, and I'm so good. I weave in my ends as I go. I do like 4 squares and then I weave in ends, and it's nice. I actually quite enjoy weaving in ends. I know, it's a problem. Everyone hates weaving in ends. I don't mind it. I must be the anomaly. Anomaly. And next up we have a sock whip, because you know there's always going to be a sock whip, because I'm doing the box of socks knit along, hosted by the Yarngasm podcast, Kristen of Villenvine Yarns, and the Yarngasm podcast is doing another box of socks. So I need to get my box filled with 12 pairs of socks. So I'm doing my first pattern socks, and these are my first socks knit out of indie dyed yarn, which is very exciting. Oh, I forgot to say about the Cozy Memories blanket. That's a pattern by Kemper Ray of Junk Yarn and the Junk Yarn podcast, and I am following it to the T, except for I'm using 2.5mm needles instead of 2.75 because I didn't have any when I started the blanket. Anyway, back to the socks. This is once again Truly Hooked Yarns in her standard sock base, although the heels, cuffs and toes are her sparkle sock base. I don't know what her sparkle sock base is called or what the percentage is, because I've left the ball band over there and I don't want to go get it. But wind. So I wound this by hand, and it's very nice and circular, but it took ages not to wind this little ball. So this is heel, cuffs and toes. This is what came with the yarn. It's like a duo set, and it's sparkly. You can't really see it in this light, but it's sparkly and varying shades of grey. And then this is the yarn I'm knitting it out of. This is just her standard sock. Let me see if I can get it to focus. There we go. And it's a pastel delight with some pops of neon and some blackish grey speckles. And this colourway is the Emo Fairy Dust colourway. And I saw it in her shop when she had a Christmas sale, and was just like, well, yes, I need to own that. I am doing a patterned sock for the first time, which I'm very excited about. This cable's having a bit of a party. These are the Weasley Homestead socks, so I'm calling these my Emo Weasley socks, because the name made me laugh to imagine an Emo Weasley. Which means they can be entered into a plethora of knit-alongs. They're going to be in Becky's, Eurostash Cal. They're going to be in the Happy Knitting Podcast's Geeky Sock Along, because Weasley's Harry Potter. They are going to be in Inside Number 23's Harry Potter Cal. Hopefully going to get this done by the end of February, so I can enter for February, because I really want that prize. Although I have terrible luck with knit-alongs and prize-winning things like giveaways. I don't think I've ever won one. And what else am I going to enter these into? I had another one. Oh, Bad Wolf Girl Sits and Knits and Jilly of the Knitting Broomstick are having a Weasley Cowl, which is going till the end of February as well. So these are going to be entered into that. And it's a free pattern on Ravelry by Erica Lueder, L-U-E-D-E-R. So Lueder is how I would pronounce it with the German pronunciation. I've done the pattern wrong, but I've done it wrong the whole way down, so that's fine. Because it's meant to be like, do 6 rows of this, then 6 rows of this, then go back to the first 6 rows. But I, for some reason, miscounted and have only been doing 5 rows. I don't know how that happened, but that's fine. And I have my little sloth stitch marker on it. Or sloth, but I say sloth because that's just how I was taught. Oh no, the builder's back. How are the builders back? It's not even gone lunchtime. Or are they leaving? They might be leaving. Literally, they woke me up this morning because I think they were doing some kind of radiator work on the flat above mine. And it sounded like they were trying to break into my house. It was a bit of a startling way to wake up this morning. But I have that in, ooh, I have that one in a project bag. I don't have a project bag big enough to fit my Bechlein shawl. So it's just in a tote bag, which is fine. It's all very well and good. But still, I'd like to be able to zip it up. But this is in the project bag that my friend made for me. And I have a couple of awesome badges. So you can see the reflection of the camera. So this one says I Shih Tzu Not, and this one says Fueled by Tea. Because I often am. I'm going to be honest with you about that. I often am fueled by tea. Oh, I haven't eaten yet today. That may be a mistake. Ooh. Okie dokie. Finished things. I finished things this week. Not too many things, just a couple of things. So last week you saw me knitting on Mario's socks. And I finished them. It's his birthday at the beginning of March, so I cast these on and knit them because I wanted to keep them a complete secret. He didn't know that I had the yarn, and so I knit them when he was out, which is fine because he works and I work here. I do YouTube things, which is work. I get paid for it. Anyway, I won't go into details of my financial life. Ta-da! He has massive feet. I got really sick of knitting them at the end. Like really bored of knitting these socks just because his feet are so big. He's a UK size 9, 10. Like he's in a 9.5, 10. So if I'm a 39 and I'm a 6, so 39, 40 is a 7, 41 is an 8, 42 is a 9. He's like a 42, 43. European, 42, 43, which is huge. Big feet. And he's not that tall. Very strange. Anyway, I'll stop going on about my boyfriend's feet. I don't want people to get wrong ideas. I managed to keep these secret, which was nice. So the heels, cuffs and toes, which are these lovely dark grey colour. Boop. Which is not going to focus on. Okay, whatever. You do you, camera. You do you. And that's Wolle Rödel Strumpfwolle. It's Sport und Strumpfwolle. In the 035 colourway, which is a dark grey, got charcoal grey. It's the same that I used on my Hufflepuff socks, if you saw them last week. It's the same yarn that I used on my heel, cuffs and toes for that. And then the body of the sock is Regia Design Line by Erica Knight, and that is the 6450 colourway, which is called Mint Julep. And I just found it in the sale in a department store here called Craftea, and I thought, yes, Mario likes green. That's slightly masculine colours. Not that there are such things as man colours and lady colours, but I thought, you know, they're quite serious for him to wear to work. He's a teacher. Although teachers can have jazzy socks, my uncle wears jazzy socks all the time. And jazzy ties. He went a full year of school not wearing the same tie twice. It's quite impressive. Also, I completed another pair of socks, and these are the second pair of socks to go in my box of socks, and I wore them without even thinking that I needed to keep them pristine for the podcast, so they have been washed because I wanted them at least clean to show you. And you didn't even see these as a whip. So these are my Anna and Carlos Regia, once again, they design line, Alain Carlos. This is the Star Night colorway, which I believe is color 03653. And I followed Woolenvine's favorite sock pattern, and I used a 2.25mm needle. I did magic loop. Mario socks I used a 2.5 because the socks I knit him last time worked. I did a German twisted cast on, which is my new favorite cast on for socks because it's super stretchy, and I'm sorry I just knocked the camera. Super soft now. I've washed it. How exciting. I did a huge sock wash the other day and just washed loads of socks. Because I like to hand wash my knits because I don't want to ruin them. And I don't want Mario to ruin them either, so I have to wash them. So yeah, these are going in my box O socks, and they're not really eligible for anything else, so. Except for the Happy Knitting Podcast's informal One Ball with Love Cow, which is where she's just going to, for the full year, use commercial sock yarn because she is German. I talked about her last week before, a couple of weeks ago, as in a couple of podcasts ago. They have so much amazing sock yarn here in Germany, so yeah. I've gone back to doing a heel flap and gusset, although I prefer knitting the Fish Lips Kiss. I think I prefer the fit of a heel flap. So we shall see. I'm just going to do a lot of experimenting, I think. And I knit these a bit looser than I knit my Hufflepuff socks. They are the most comfortable socks that I've knit so far. Although all of my socks fit more comfortably now I've washed them, because my socks stretch when I wash them. It's very annoying. Very annoying. Anyway, Heels, Cuffs and Toes is just some cheap yarn that I got in Aldi, because in German Aldis they sell sock yarn, and I will show you some more in a bit. And the brand is Vendita. Vendita. And this is 001, which is just a cream. It's just a useful one to have. Speaking of cheap yarn from Aldi, we're going to dive into fattening up my stash. And Aldi doesn't always have sock yarn. When it does, I like to buy it because it's not that expensive. And I'm sorry if you can hear my tummy rumble. Apparently I'm hungry. So you get 5 2.5mm DPNs with it, which I have so many of now I don't need any more because I like to buy the yarn. And you get 4 balls of yarn. And they're 4 50-gram balls of yarn, so I could, in theory, get 2 pairs of socks out of each colour if I use a contrasting heel, cuffs and toes. That's not bad, no? And it's only €5.99. So I got these colours because I thought they were quite nice. I'm going to try doing like some form of lacy sock, I think, with the teal, and then just stripy with the other one, standard. And I got these ones. The initial thought was to do something Valentine's-y with the plain red and then knit these up for Mario at some point during the year. But we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, 4 balls of yarn for €5.99. And it's 25%, oh no, 75% superwash virgin wool. It doesn't say what kind of wool. It's not like a merino, obviously. It's not super soft, but it feels akin to Regia. It's just a bit thinner. But if I'm knitting 12 pairs of socks this year, I can't keep spending loads of money on yarn, you know? Well, they're saying that. I went to post a birthday card the other day, and then next to the post office is a craft shop. And it's rude to go past a craft shop and not just pop in to see what they've got. So I popped in. They had a sale on sock yarn. But I only bought 2 balls of yarn, which I thought was very responsible of me, mainly because I'd already bought all of those. But it was very responsible. And the yarn that I'd made my sock head hat out of was half price in the sale, which is really annoying. But I've worn the hat all winter, so it's not too annoying. But I guess because spring's coming, people don't knit socks in the spring, except for the fact that I will. So they're trying to get rid of some so they can get some more spring, summery type things in. But I bought this tweed yarn, and it was only €2.44 for each ball, which isn't bad. And this is the Sport- und Strumpfwolle tweed Furfach, 75% virgin wool superwash, 25% polyamide, or polyamide. Polyamide? I don't know how to say that in English because I've only read it in German. And this is colour 16560, and I thought that these would make a very nice pair of cabley socks. So I'm going to make a real nice pair of cabley socks using 4-ply tweed yarn. That was the thought process behind them. That's why I got a lighter colour to show off the cables. But even if I don't touch that for a while, that's also fine. So yeah, I didn't fatten up my stash too much. I was pretty controlled because, like I said last week, we are going to Edinburgh, Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So I would like to have some money to spend there because I want to make a jumper. That is something that I would like to do. Or a cardigan, I haven't quite decided. So I need some money to buy yarn because there are some amazing skinny people who can get a jumper out of 3 skeins of finger and weight yarn. I don't think I'd be able to do that. I'm a bit chunkier. But yes, I need some yarn. I always need some yarn. I don't at all. Although making the neckline is quite good because it's using up, well, it's not using up, but it's using 3 skeins of yarn, so my stash looks smaller. And then I just need something to use up the rest of the yarn, which is cool. Okay. Oh, the cathedral bells have started to ring. It is midday, so sorry if you can hear that. We are moving along to podcaster recommendations. I like to recommend podcasts to you that I've been watching and I've been enjoying, just because it's nice, it's fun, it's nice to be part of this community, and yeah. Oh, I've discovered I'm really bad at purling over magic loop. That is something that I'm terrible at, so any advice would be very useful. So we're going to start off with the Yarn Hoarder podcast, and I'm sure, oh, I meant to purl that one. I'm sure a lot of you have watched that because her podcasts get a lot of views. I personally clicked on her first podcast because I couldn't believe that that wall of yarn that was in the thumbnail was actually in her craft room. And I said to Mario, look, my stash could be worse. It could be like this. Not saying that her stash is a negative thing, because obviously if it brings you joy and it makes you happy, then that's great. But sometimes Mario complains about the amount of yarn that I have. I said, see, it could be worse. It could be like this. And he said, that's a shop. I don't know what you're talking about. And then I watched it, and it is not a shop. She just has that much yarn, which is absolutely incredible. And must be so useful, because when you see a project that you want to knit, you can just be like, oh yeah, I have yarn for that. Because how could you not have yarn for that, you know? And that is hosted by Amber. And she has a wonderful personality, a very infectious laugh, and I enjoy watching her podcasts. Next up, we have Stitching the High Notes, which is hosted by Opera Jo, as she is known as on Instagram and Ravelry. She's an opera singer in, I want to say San Francisco. I can't remember now, sorry. Apologies. But she knits and sews and does cross stitch and such as well. And it's not that I've recently discovered her podcast, I've just recently started to watch her podcast, because when I first started watching podcasts, which was literally in like October, it wasn't that long ago, it's kind of intimidating to be faced with so many, so I just kind of took it slow. I took it slow and started watching a few at a time, and now I've got a nice amount that I'm subscribed to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to recommend 3 each time, but yes. Can't remember what I was saying. Yes, she knits really lovely things and makes really lovely things, and I am jealous of her cross-stitching skills, because I used to do a lot of cross-stitch when I was younger, and I keep threatening to get back into it because I have so much embroidery thread from making friendship bracelets throughout the years, but for some reason I just haven't got back into it, and I don't really know why. I just haven't. And the final podcast I am recommending to you all is the Woolberry Fibre podcast, which is hosted by Bethany, who is the owner of the Woolbury Fibre Company. She dyes, oh, dropped a stitch. She dyes absolutely stunning yarn, considering she's only been dyeing yarn since like October, or selling her dyed yarn since October. It's ridiculous how amazing her dye is. And yesterday on Instagram, I don't know if it's still going to be there, to her Instagram story, she posted like the process behind dyeing yarn, which I found very interesting, and I will get into why in a little bit, as in why I found it so interesting. I'm just sip of tea. But she also has a wonderful personality and knits really lovely things. People that, I don't know why, but people that knit cables amaze me. I don't know why that is, because I'm going to learn to do it this year. I'm going to be test knitting a pattern for Green Lambkin Yarns, as in Suzanne of the Green Lambkin podcast, and that has cables in, so time to take the plunge and learn how to cable. Though I still have some time to do that because I only got the pattern yesterday. So yes, those are my 3 podcast recommendations: Yarn Hoarder podcast, Stitching the High Notes, and the Woolbury Fibre podcast. Anyway, now I'm going to be talking about my YouTube channel and like life stuff, so if that's not something you're interested in, that is perfectly fine. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I post craft tutorials and then a fortnightly podcast. I hope that you would stick around. Feel free to hit that like button if you enjoyed it. It helps to get my video out there a little bit. Helps for it to be recommended and found by other people, and feel free to share it with people if that is something that you if you enjoyed it, you know. Anyway, YouTube. So I only have 2 videos for YouTube. I usually have 3, but I missed the Sunday after last podcast. I just did. I didn't feel very inspired. I felt a little bit defeated because after last week's podcast I lost a significant amount of subscribers, like over 100, which made me a bit sad. I think it's because I posted that I had done the Women's March in Frankfurt, and so yeah, that kind of, yeah, it kind of just made me feel a bit defeated and a bit sad about my channel. So I don't feel overly inspired to film a tutorial and post it, so I didn't, which is, looking back, a bit stupid, but you know, I get in these moods sometimes and that is fine. But last Thursday, as in, yeah, last week, I did a knitting basics video, which I'm aware that a lot of people watching this video won't necessarily need. But I've been getting a lot of requests from people because my channel did start out as a craft tutorial channel. I have a lot of people asking me to make a sock knitting tutorial, so I thought if I'm going to be showing people how to make socks, I should make a separate video showing the basic stitches, because otherwise this sock video is going to take forever and a day to make. And then Sunday's tutorial was for this choker I'm wearing, which you can't really see, but I'll insert a clip of the choker. And this is just the crochet choker that I made using crochet cotton, and I showed you how to do it. And I added the pattern to Ravelry because it wasn't on Ravelry, and it's not my own design. It's on a blog called Beanies and Weenies, which, saying out loud, sounds ridiculous, but this is the name of the blog. And yeah, it's a super easy pattern to follow. It's written in American English. I do the tutorial in both American and English, or British crochet terms, because British crochet terminology and American terminology are different, for those who aren't aware. So I like to do both for those who know both, you know? 1, 2, 3. And then life things, because that's all I have to say about YouTube things. Live things. Oh, and I did a live stream yesterday, which was a lot of fun. I like to do live streams on occasion. I don't have like a set day when I do it, so just try to keep an eye on my YouTube channel, and sometimes I post about it on Instagram and Twitter. But yeah, try to keep an eye out for when I live stream, because it's a lot of fun. I like to have people come and hang out with me. I do it when Mario is out for the evening. My next one is going to be next Thursday at 8 p.m. German time, which is GMT +1. So that's next week, next Thursday, if you're interested in joining me. And I just sit with a cup of tea and talk to people in the chat and just let the conversation go wherever it needs to go. Yesterday we talked a lot about learning languages. But that's just sometimes what happens. So yes, life things, yay. I've not really been up to an awful lot. Last weekend, one of my friends came out to visit. I lived with her when I lived in France, and that was good fun, seeing her again, because she's Finnish, but she's been living in Brussels for a few months, and so she thought before she goes back to Finland she should come and see me, because it's quite easy to get to Frankfurt from Brussels. So she got hopped on a train and came to see me, which was really lovely, because I hadn't seen her since her wedding, which was in 2014. So that was really nice to see her again. What else? Didn't watch the Super Bowl. We stayed up and watched it last year, but that's because the Monday after was a holiday here, like a public holiday. So no one had to work afterwards, but people had work, so we didn't stay up and watch it, because it goes on till like 5 in the morning here, because time zones. And to be fair, I'm not overly interested in American football. I just quite like the social side of it. I just don't really understand it. And I still haven't watched Lady Gaga's halftime show, which I know is criminal, because I've heard it was amazing. But I still haven't watched it. So what you gonna do? I have bought citric acid, I have bought a pot in which to dye, and I have bought measuring spoons to use with the dye. So all I need now is a bucket / washing up bowl, and then I have no excuse. And I don't know, because I really want to start dyeing yarn. I've set up my Etsy shop for dyeing yarn. I've set up the Instagram account. I haven't set up the Twitter account yet, purely because I'm avoiding Twitter, as I said earlier. I basically have everything ready to go. I just haven't dyed yarn yet, and I don't know what's putting me off. I have no excuse not to. I think I'm putting a bit too much pressure on myself, and I'm scared that I'm going to be crap at it. Sorry for my language. I'm worried I'm going to be rubbish at it. So I don't like to do things I'm not very good at, which is a personality flaw that I possess, but one that I own up to. So hopefully next week I will both dye yarn and my hair, because I've had blue hair since the beginning of November and I'm sick of it now. So sick of having blue hair. I'm not used to having hair colour the same for this long. But yes, yes. So I'm really hoping that I dye yarn. So I have a busy few weeks coming up. So the date that the next podcast is due to go up, next Thursday, is the day that I'm flying back to England for my best friend's hen party, which is a bachelorette party, like a woo, you're not married yet party. So I think I'm going to record and upload on next Wednesday instead. It's going to be busy. So I'm flying back to England from the Thursday. I'm not going to say too much about what I do, just in case what the plan is, in case she watches and it's a surprise to say. So yeah, fly back to England from the Thursday till Tuesday, then fly back here, which is Pancake Day, which is very exciting. Although I've given up chocolate for February, which was a huge mistake because Lent starts on the 1st of March. Ugh, so annoying. And I should probably give up chocolate for that too, because I just found I was being too dependent on it, and I am too dependent on it because I'm finding it really hard to give it up. I haven't eaten any yet, but that doesn't mean I'm not finding it hard to give up. And if you can't live without something in your life, then you should probably quit it. Like, I'm not even allowing myself a hot chocolate because chocolate should not have this power over me, you know? Yes, and so then I fly back on the Tuesday, and then the Friday after that, Mario's brother's coming out to visit, which would be good fun, because it's Mario's birthday on that Saturday, which is what the socks are for. And I also bought him tickets to go and see Belle and Sebastian in Dublin in July, which is super exciting. He knows about that, so that's fine. And then Mario's brother's here from the Friday till the Monday, and then he flies off on the Monday, and then on that Wednesday, so there's the Monday and then there's the Tuesday, then on that Wednesday evening, Becky and I are off to Edinburgh, which is when the next podcast is meant to be going out. So you might have a couple of Wednesday podcasts coming up. I think that's going to have to happen. No way around it. But I'm very excited about Edinburgh. I've had a couple of people saying that they're going and they're excited to see me, and I'm excited to see them, which should be good fun. And yeah, very exciting. A bit tense because advanced sale tickets have sold out, and we didn't manage to get our hands on any. So keeping the fingers crossed, because we're going on the Friday, so we should be okay. But we were hoping to go for a little bit on the Saturday as well, because our flight's not until like 4 back on the Saturday. But we'll have to play it by ear. Nothing we can do about it now. We've done what we can. But yes, the bell's going berserk again, so I guess that's my signal to sign off. I think that's everything I have to tell you. Pretty much. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. As I said earlier, it helps get my video out there, it helps it be recommended to people, helps other people find my channel. As much as I realise that that might not be like a priority to you, when my sole source of income is YouTube, it makes a difference how many people view a video, you know? It's the little things. So that ad that played at the beginning and then like halfway through and such, that is why I put ads in my videos. So I can afford my hobby and life. I hope that's okay with everyone. Feel free to hit subscribe. I post a craft tutorial every Sunday, and then Thursdays you get another video. Next podcast will be on a Wednesday, as I've said, so that will be the 22nd, I think. So that's on a Wednesday. But yes, I film whatever kind of videos I fancy filming on the Thursdays in between. Just how it is. Just how it is. Feel free to follow me on social media. Links are all in the description box below, as well as the link to the podcast Ravelry group for any links or further information about the projects that I'm using. If there's any information that I missed out, I tend to pop it in there. And links to all of the podcasters I recommended will also be in the description box of this video, as well as over in the podcast notes. I think that's everything I have to say. I can't remember anything else. Thank you so much for watching this video. It truly means the world to me. I hope that you all have a lovely week, fortnight, however long until you next click on my video. And yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you very soon in Sunday's video. Bye.